everybody. We're going live here with Kath in just a few minutes. This is Barbie with Bell's Palsy Talk. I'm really excited to be talking to Kath. She's had Bell's Palsy now for 18 years. So she's like myself. We had had Bell's Palsy here for a while. We're not just new. I know some of you are new and have can answer later if you like. So just waiting here for Kath to join us. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I'm in Canada in Vancouver. Hi, Kath.
Hey, Barbie, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so glad to connect with you. We've been trying here for a while.
We have.
Life
gets there in Vancouver.
I'm in Vancouver, BC, Canada. And it's beautiful here today. We've had some flooding that's been a little bit concerning here for us, but today's sunny.
Are you okay?
Clear up.
Oh, good. I hope so.
Yes, I'm okay. Yes, thank you. I'm very grateful for that. Okay, so I'm really excited here. We have some viewers coming on. Welcome so much to everybody. Also to everybody who's joining us later. So I'm really excited to have you on here, Kath, because you're like myself. We're not new with Bell's Palsy. And of course, we like to talk to people who have been a warrior, a Bell's Palsy warrior for a while.
Of course.
Recover 100% and some people don't. So we like to have that support system. I know you're on board with that. So 18 years, Bell's Palsy.
Yes.
So when did it happen to you? And tell us a bit about that.
It was a shock. I had no knowledge of Bell's Palsy at all 18 years ago. I was in work one day and I peeled a banana, went to eat it, and it just kept hitting my face and not going into my mouth. What's going on? It was so bizarre. And I popped to the loo to look, and my face, as you know, just completely dropped. I thought I'd had a stroke, of course. Went to the doctor. The moment she saw me, she said Bell's Palsy. So,
yeah, that's what happened to me. I'm like, what's that? Never heard of that before.
No, it's bizarre, isn't it? Nobody really kind of talks about it. So it was quite a steep learning curve. And initially, it improved. I think I remember taking steroids. Yeah. It improved for a few years. And then I got pregnant and it just all went to pot. It really got bad. And there was just no way it was ever going to improve. So after about 6 or 7 years of that, I had surgery, which failed. And then I had more surgery to just improve it rather than really rectify it. So now here I am living with Bell's Palsy. So this is the best I'm going to get. And I guess I'm at peace with that largely. I hope I am.
Yeah. You know, what's the alternative, really, right? So having gone through it,
absolutely,
you got to make peace, work on your mental health and get back out there like you have. You know, you did say in your intake with me that, getting out on Instagram, putting your face out there, is a big deal.
It was terrifying. I'd put my face out a little bit on Facebook as part of my business. And a lot of people with similar businesses were putting their faces on Instagram, and I was terrified. I thought Instagram was entirely populated by people who looked like Kim Kardashian, and that I was going to be like the soul freak turning up at the circus. I was terrified. And I kind of realized that me not putting my face out there was really holding back my business. And I decided I just had to do it. And I did, and there was no way around doing it other than just doing it. And I was convinced as soon as I did it, I'd be flooded with comments about how hideous I am, get off Instagram, get back in the house, hide your face. And I haven't had one comment of anyone in the entire time I've been putting my face out there. So I guess that's quite an optimistic outcome. You know, it's really positive. Yeah. Things aren't as scary as you think they're going to be. Certainly they weren't for me.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to clarify. Those comments didn't happen. You were saying you were expecting them to?
No, they didn't. I had
lots
of comments in my real life.
Yeah.
I've had lots of comments in real life of strangers on the street. Oh, so many. But on Instagram, absolutely nothing.
Great.
So weirdly, the place I was most scared of has turned out to be, for me, the safest place. So I'd rather put my face on Instagram than actually walk around a supermarket.
Wow. No, but that I mean, obviously not happy that you're about the supermarket, but to me, I'm feeling the same thing. Like, For me, I didn't really have a main issue about necessarily my face. I mean, obviously when I do lives, I'm looking at myself, and right now that's kind of hard for me. But for me, I understand the whole Instagram thing, period. I've been a speaker on stage and things like that, but you're not staring at yourself the whole time.
No.
So that I had trouble with. And so I do resonate with the fact that you're just like, hey, just try it. Because we see so many people out there, you're like, good for them. They just got out there and they don't know what they're doing, but that's okay. But when it comes to ourselves, you're like, well, I'm scared.
Oh, we are so hard on ourselves, aren't we? And when I started going on Instagram and doing reels, there was a phase at first where I would do each reel dozens of times, trying to get the right angle so you couldn't see my face properly, or it was softened a little, and it was such hard bloody work. And in the end I thought, no, I'm just going to put my face out there, because I just don't have the time to be fannying around in case somebody doesn't like the way I look. And like I say, it's been a really positive experience. Nothing bad has happened yet.
And honestly, myself too. That's why I started doing lives, because at the beginning I started doing interviews. Okay, we're going to record them on Zoom and I'm going to edit them. A, like the time, and B, I don't have a choice, right? Like, I'm super excited. We have viewers. It posts it right on Instagram already. Like yourself, you're doing your reels are awesome. I love them. They're hilarious. And
Thank you.
Then we get it out there. And nobody wants all perfect anyways. The last thing I want to do, and I know yourself is the same, is making people feel like they have to look perfect too. We're not perfect.
No, absolutely. And you're right. I think if we try to look perfect, we kind of contribute to the culture of you have to look perfect to go on Instagram. And then that stops other people from doing it.
Totally.
So I think by us just putting ourselves out there and saying, this is how I look, and that's perfectly fine, hopefully it gives others the courage to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And even Bell's palsy otherwise doesn't matter. Oh, you look like you're not wearing makeup because you just got from the gym. That's me too. And I honestly just get it done, get out there. And that's what the feedback I've had is, you want to be approachable. What's the point? Like, if you're not approachable, and anything, you post a picture with your kids, you post a picture of anything that you're doing, like, God forbid you're in a bathing suit, but guess what? You're having fun and you're living life. And especially us going through life with Bell's palsy, or someone with anything, if you're in a wheelchair, if you have MS, like whatever, like, you only get one life.
Of course.
So it can be perfect. But I think that we have a different outlook on life. And I'm
absolutely
learning that as a blessing, because
and I think it's sorry.
Nope, that's okay.
I was just going to say, I think it's something. There's a bit of a delay, I think, isn't there? I think it's something that you learn every day as well. I put makeup on tonight to come and chat to you, but if you look at my stories, which I post throughout the day, I never have makeup on. I'm all looking ragged and scruffy, and it doesn't matter. It's about building community. And if people like what I'm saying and how I'm coming across, then my face really shouldn't be an issue at all. And I think that's the same with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I also, I agree, the support and the connections that I've found on our community here really make it on my days more than anything else anyways. And I just, I'm loving it. Now, the other thing I know our viewers are going to be interested in about is your surgery. So if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yes, of course. Initially, the first surgery I had, I can't quite remember what it was called. I had some, the fascia of one of the nerves in my leg inserted into the side of my face, and it grew across for a year. And then we took my pectoralis minor out of my chest and put it in and linked it all up. And the plan was then I'd be able to reanimate my face a little bit by using my muscles in a certain way. Right. That went horribly wrong. No. And I had to have the muscle taken out. And then we just put a sling in about a year later with some of the fascia lata from my left leg. So there was a series of surgeries, and it was quite difficult. But weirdly, because I love anatomy and my job is embroidering anatomy. I found
Yeah.
the entire thing fascinating. I
Yeah,
loved
yeah,
going into surgery.
yeah.
I loved asking all the questions, getting the books. So it was a weird kind of odyssey in lots of ways, really.
Yeah.
So it's a shame the surgery didn't work as well as I wanted it to.
Yeah, of course.
But I've completely come to terms with that. I mean, what can you do? It is what it is. You just have to get on with it, don't you? So
Yeah, it could
have
be
you
the
had any?
first. Now, the recovery from that, how, like, I would imagine it's a pretty big deal on your leg and your face. And I'm
Yes.
sure at some point you probably thought to yourself, like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, you know,
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely. I
you know,
did after the first surgery failed, where my pectoralis minor was put in my face. It became infected and had to be removed,
oh,
and that was the lowest point. I think I was in hospital for quite a long time. I was quite badly infected. My chest cavity kept filling up with fluid.
ugh.
So it was quite a messy time, and not at all what I expected, because of course, when you go into surgery, you go in it with, you know, even though you're aware of everything that could happen, you're kind of optimistic and hopeful. My
Of
surgeon was a
course, yeah,
fantastic
like,
surgeon.
yeah,
Yeah, it just happened to go wrong. So, and we never knew why it went wrong. The surgeon had no idea, and they took great care of me. So, yeah, like I say, it's a shame it didn't work, but I kind of started making peace with that quite quickly, I thought. Because I embroider anatomy, my whole journey doing that started while I was recovering from that failed surgery. I wanted to embroider. I hated florals. I put two and two together. I started stitching the muscles of the face. And the whole meditative aspect of embroidering allowed
mm-hmm.
me to sit and think about what was happening to my face. And it
Yourself
helped
and your
bring me
mind.
peace. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It was really important for me to take that time out for myself. And I think it was an ongoing process, because for a while I found it quite difficult going out. I did go out, obviously, I've got a life to live.
yeah, you have to.
But
Yeah,
I'd find myself doing things like not going for walks in public, taking quiet woodland trails, because people would stare at me so much. And I found that quite difficult. But again, as time went on, I started making peace with that. And rather than finding that upsetting, I just started getting really angry about it. So now I'm in a place
mm.
where if anyone does get funny with me about the way I look, I mean, they rue the day. I'm now willing just to completely stand up for myself and
Yeah.
say, this is how I look. Why do you have a problem with that? You know, what do you want me to do about it? So
Well,
I
yeah, and
come,
you're standing up for other people too, and
yes,
anybody with anything going on. I'm not going to call it disfigurement. I'm not going to call nothing, anything going on with their body. And you know what I read the other day, which was very interesting, is somebody was some kind, I can't remember what kind of paralysis, doesn't matter, said that the stares they get are from,
yeah,
he said it's never from kids. It's never
yeah.
from young kids. It's from adults. And isn't that interesting? Because children are accepting. They
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
okay, like whatever. And I had an interview. One of the first interviews was Auntie, I call her.
Yeah.
And she said her little niece that she takes care of was like 6. And she was like, well, that's cool. It's Halloween. Like, let's go out and scare people. Like that, like kids are so cool. It's adults that are jerks. So that's cool for
Oh,
you up then.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
great. I think that's fantastic. And standing up for anybody, because then maybe next time when they're on the trail and somebody has, you know, a leg that doesn't work, maybe they'll think twice about staring at that and think, hey, let's have some compassion in life. Like,
Oh,
people are so
absolutely. It really staggered me that people
totally,
would say the things that they did. Bearing in mind, the worse I looked was as if I'd had a stroke. So if anyone were to look at me, you'd think they'd do it with compassion or, I don't know, pity even, or
yeah,
something. But to
yeah,
just be
something.
blatantly rude and come up to me and say, God,
Yeah,
you're ugly. It's like, whoa, why would you do that to somebody? So it's been
Yeah.
quite a lesson, really, in the behaviour of others. As
Yeah.
well as
At
the
least I
ability of
have something
myself
going
to
on with
withstand
my
it.
face. You're just ugly, period. No, I'm just joking.
Yes. It's just bizarre. So I like to think it makes us kind of stronger, I guess.
Yeah.
After I know there are down days where it's like, oh God, but
Yeah.
largely I like to think there's an upward curve where we just keep getting stronger and more resilient.
Yeah. And Heather says, yes, my eye is the first thing people notice. Mine is the same. You know, as you can tell, when I talk, my eye gets smaller, or when I smile, or, you know, if I've had too
Yes.
much wine, or I'm tired. But you know what? Like, one of our, you know, people in our community here for Bell's Palsy Talk says, guess what? Who doesn't have something going on, or something, you know, she said, you know, something wrong with them. Like, I'm not saying anything's wrong, but same
No,
thing. Like, at least
absolutely.
ours is apparent, and
Yeah.
you're not fooling around in your heart and being a jerk. So, you know, that's a positive way to look at it too.
That's exactly right. And I mentioned earlier, you know, I was worried about Instagram being all Kim Kardashian lookalikes. And even Kim Kardashian has probably got, I don't know, a wonky toe or wrinkles where she doesn't want them. You know, we've all got something going on. And it's so important to think that we treat others the way that we like to be treated. At some point, you know, we're all getting older. At some point, we're all going to look less beautiful than we'd like to look. We need to start accepting that we're all the same and just show each other the compassion that we hope to get one day.
And absolutely, you know what has just popped into my mind? Like, isn't COVID something that has really, really cemented that we are all the same, right?
Absolutely.
COVID,
Absolutely.
matter if you're perfect on Instagram, or have all the makeup, or your hair is perfect. Guess
Yes.
what? You're just acceptable as anybody else. So to me, that was fascinating. It really connected us as humans. For the people who
Yes.
chose to see it that way, we're all the same.
Absolutely. It was really interesting in the pandemic, that feeling that we were all together in the same mess. And hopefully that's left some positive, lasting marks. I hope.
I agree. And I think that, like I said, people who choose to look at it that way, of course, it's not everybody. But I also was going to say is social media, for all that we, you know, like you and I were saying, we're reluctant and we try to look perfect. Who cares? We've moved on from it. That's amazing. The support that we've both received from the communities, you know, that we're involved in and have created, it's wonderful. But the other thing that I love about social media is that I'm talking to you right now.
Yes.
You know, I think a lot of
It's
the time
amazing.
people talk about negatives of social media, but look how many positives there is. It's
It's
wonderful.
fantastic.
It's
It
wonderful,
is. Sorry, go on.
especially with something like Bell's palsy. Like we said, I mean, I've had it for 6 years. You've had it for almost 20, and you know, you get it, and you're like, I had heard of somebody I worked with. Her husband had it like before. I knew nothing about it. There was no information out there. So for me personally, like even talking to Jody from the, you know, Center for Facial Recovery and all these places that we're able to find, you know, for Bell's palsy and anything else is just so fantastic. You know, finding support of people who have similar issues as, you know, ourselves in any way, whether it has to do with anxiety. You just shared today that you have adult ADHD, which I do too, and I
Yes.
just learned it. And
So did I.
like, to me, the connections, and to me personally, which I definitely am going to talk to you about more later, off here, and then maybe again on a live, is all the similarities I find when I talk to people about Bell's palsy and the people pleasing and all the things that we have had in common before. And it is fascinating to me because I think we're all in the same boat. And I think Bell's palsy now has brought it to the surface that we need to use our voice more. And you've been doing that. I've been doing that. Like, just get out there, use your voice,
Yes.
speak up for yourself, learn those things. And I think
Absolutely.
everybody that's gotten Bell's palsy or facial paralysis, I challenge that our journeys are a lot more similar than we realize.
Yeah. I suspect you're absolutely right. You know, we know that stress can be a big issue with Bell's palsy and can make it worse. And tiredness, of course, physical tiredness. When I was pregnant, it became really bad. And I was told that was because my body was under so much stress.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think lots of us have so much more in common than we realize.
Mhm.
And seeing each other on social media is just amazing. The first time I was on Instagram, when somebody with Bell's palsy came up on my scroll, I almost dropped my phone. It's like, my God, there's somebody who looks like me. And previously, the only people I'd seen who looked like me were at the hospital when we were all waiting to see the same doctor. So it's amazing to see these beautiful people with Bell's palsy all out there on my feed. And it's just so reassuring and kind of life enhancing to see that we're all getting out there.
It's wonderful. And I've loved talking to you, and we'll definitely have you on again. And I'm going to talk to you more about that I'm talking about, because I want to be more open about self-care and things like that too. Bell's palsy warriors can definitely be advocates for that. I think that our lives changed in a major way, and I know that everybody that is in our community wants to support others. So thank you so much for coming on. I know I could talk to you for 10 hours, but I'll let you get back to your stitching and your wonderful artwork. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. And thank you so much to everybody for joining us. Please share this video so that we can support everybody else. Bye. Have a wonderful night.
Take care. Bye, Barbie.
Take care. See you.